If you work in the oil fields of West Texas, the Permian Basin is your office. Pecos, Monahans, Kermit, Andrews, Crane, and the dozens of smaller communities between them are where you earn your living. 14 on, 7 off schedules, man camps, extended stay hotels, company housing that feels more like a barracks than a home. And if you get arrested out here, the system treats you differently than it treats someone with a house, a family, and a permanent address in the same county. Not because the law says so on paper, but because the way judges, prosecutors, and bail schedules operate in practice creates a different experience for transient workers than for permanent residents. This is the Oilfield Worker's Guide to Understanding What Happens When You Get Arrested in the Permian Basin and why the deck can feel stacked against you. The first thing to understand is how bail gets set. In every Texas county, a magistrate considers several factors when determining the bail amount: the severity of the charge, your criminal history, whether you have ties to the community, and whether you are a flight risk. This is where oilfield workers face their first disadvantage. Community ties are measured by things like permanent housing, local family, and long-term employment at a fixed location. If your address is a man camp 15 miles outside of Pecos, or an extended stay motel in Monahans, or a company-provided trailer in Winkler County, the magistrate sees that as weak community ties. Flight risk is the next factor. Oilfield work takes people across state lines. You might have worked in Texas this month, New Mexico last month, and Oklahoma 3 months before that. Your employer might transfer you to a different site next week. From a judge's perspective, a defendant who can easily relocate to another state is a higher flight risk than someone who has lived in the same house for 20 years. The result of these two factors combined is that bail amounts for oilfield workers are often set above the standard schedule for the same charge. A first offense DWI that might carry a $1,000 bail for a local resident could be set at $2,000 or $3,000 for someone living in a man camp with no permanent local address. Higher wages work against you too. Judges and prosecutors in oil patch counties are aware that oilfield paychecks are often well above the regional average. When setting bail, they factor in the defendant's ability to pay. If the court perceives that you earn 6 figures, they may set bail higher than they would for someone earning $30,000 a year, even for the exact same charge. Now let's talk about what actually happens when you are arrested. If the arrest occurs in Reeves County, which covers Pecos, you will likely be booked into the Reeves County Detention Center. This facility handles a significant volume relative to the county's population, largely because of the oilfield workforce. Processing can take several hours, especially on weekend nights when arrest volumes spike. In Ward County, which covers Monahans, the jail is smaller and operates with limited staff. The booking process follows the same steps as any Texas county jail, but each step may take longer simply because fewer people are handling the work. In Winkler County, which covers Kermit, and Andrews County, the same pattern holds. Small staffs, limited magistrate availability, processing times that stretch longer than they would in El Paso or Midland. Court scheduling is another challenge specific to oilfield workers. If your work schedule is 14 days on and 7 days off, and your court date falls during your on rotation, you have a problem. Missing a court date triggers an immediate bench warrant, bond forfeiture, and potential new charges for failure to appear. Your employer's schedule does not override a court order. If you know your work schedule conflicts with a court date, your attorney must file a motion for continuance in advance. This is not guaranteed to be granted, but it is far better than simply not showing up. Employer notification is a question that comes up frequently. In most cases, your employer is not automatically notified of your arrest. However, if your job requires a commercial driver's license, a security clearance, or a background check, the arrest will likely surface. Some oilfield companies conduct periodic background checks on current employees. Others only check at the time of hire. Know your company's policy. If your job involves driving company vehicles or operating heavy equipment, a DWI arrest can directly impact your employment, even before the case is resolved. Many companies have policies that restrict employees from operating equipment while facing pending DWI charges. Here is what you should do if you are arrested in the Permian Basin. First, exercise your right to remain silent beyond identifying yourself. Do not discuss the incident with officers, with other inmates, or on recorded jail phone calls. Second, contact a bail bondsman who operates in the specific county where you are being held. A bondsman from El Paso or Midland who does not have a presence in the local courthouse will take longer to post bond than someone who is already there. Third, gather documentation of your permanent address. Even if you are currently living in a man camp, if you maintain a lease, mortgage, or family residence somewhere, that documentation can help at the magistrate hearing. It demonstrates that you have ties beyond your temporary work assignment. Fourth, document your employment. Pay stubs, an employment contract, or a letter from your employer can demonstrate stable employment and reduce the flight risk perception. Fifth, save a bail bondsman's number in your phone before you need it. If you work in the Permian Basin, the odds of encountering the criminal justice system, whether as a defendant or as someone who knows a coworker who got arrested, are higher than in most parts of Texas. Freedom Bail Bonds has served the Permian Basin for over 30 years. Our offices in Pecos, Monahans, Kermit, Andrews, and Crane are staffed by agents who know the local courts, the local magistrates, and the unique challenges that oilfield workers face. We are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from Pecos to Monahans to Kermit, Andrews, and across West Texas. Reach us at 915-2655-650.